Is up? We are back with season 2 of Obb Podcast. I know it's been a little minute. A lot of stuff has happened, but hopefully we get to everything. As you know, it's Khalil. This is Joe, and we have a great show for you guys today. And everybody who was rocking with us before, we appreciate it and thank you. Hopefully we just get better, man, and you guys keep tuning in. So we're back. So topic 1 is Ben Simmons and James Harden. Obviously, we're traded for each other. A few other pieces too for the Nets. Not really so much for Philly, but who do you think won the trade, man?
I think that Brooklyn won the trade. I know that getting James Harden is obviously the biggest asset. He went to Philly, but I think that big three or big 2.5, I should say, with Kyrie half the time there, maybe less.
Yeah.
But I'd say that big three wasn't really working out as everyone thought and hoped. So I think it's good to get like not a fresh start, but some new acquisitions on that team, such as Ben Simmons. I think he gets a lot of hate for his shooting and scoring, but I mean, he's a great transition player.
100%.
He is a great defender, and he just makes plays. So I think he's a good basketball player for that team, because that team kind of lacks in the transition game. So fast break is going to be much better with Simmons, I think. I think that Seth Curry is a huge acquisition for Brooklyn. Helps them spread the floor with KD. Probably their best shooter now, other than KD and Kyrie. Maybe Joe Harris, but he hasn't been on the floor, so that's great for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brooklyn finally got a big man that's worth starting and actually will be somewhat productive for them, Andre Drummond. Defense, offense, rebounds. He does a bit of it all. He's not the best center in the league, but he's a decent center that they could actually give minutes to, and that's something they've been lacking over the last 2 seasons with that big three. On Philly's side, obviously they get Harden. Oh, wait, my bad. Philly also gave 2 picks to Brooklyn, which I think put that trade over the top for Brooklyn. I think the picks are kind of under the radar right now.
Wait, you know what year the picks are?
I forget what year, but I think they're both first rounders.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's pretty big for a team that might not have a Kevin Durant and Kyrie in the next upcoming few seasons.
Yes.
We'll see how they go. And then on the other side, I still think it's a great trade for Philly. I mean, you get James Harden to come and play with Joel Embiid, who's putting up a great numbers all year. His best season by far, maybe the MVP this year. And then they also have Tobias, and Tyrese Maxey now gets a little more opportunity. Maybe actually he probably gets around the same, but they just added James Harden to an already pretty good roster. The only thing I would say about their roster is now they don't have as much shooting, like stand and catch shoot. Stand catch fucking shooting,
Catch
and shoot. Jesus, and but I think we're just gonna have to wait and see. I don't know if we're gonna be able to say either of these teams won the trade per se by the end of the year, because I don't think either of them are making the finals anyway.
My whole thing on it is I agree but disagree. I think Philadelphia will ultimately end up winning the trade in the long run.
Well, we'll see how long Harden stays there. I mean, he's been known for bouncing around.
He signed an extension, or he signed his extension.
We'll see what happens.
But I mean, you could say that for pretty much any player at this point.
That's very true.
But I mean, the Nets now have 4 certified bucket getters. The only problem is their bench is really weak. But I would say that their bench is weak, but they're definitely not just going to put every bench player on the court at the same time. There's always going to be somebody that can put pressure on the defense and is elusive enough to get their own shot. And Ben Simmons was obviously a unicorn type player where he could play pretty much any position on defense. You saw him in the conference finals guarding Trae Young. Then you see him guarding Giannis. And then you could see him guarding James Harden. Like he's very versatile, and he's a unicorn defensively, because it's very rare you get somebody that can actually stick 5 positions and do a great job.
Right.
I mean, that's what I mean by unicorn. And for Philly, I heard, some people talking about, well, defensively they're not going to be as good, which is very true. It's very true, but the worst team in the league is probably averaging 110 points per game now. I mean, seriously. So, I mean, if it's like teams are just going to score 100 anyway, there's not going to be a lot of teams that could outscore Philly. Yeah, there really isn't a lot of teams that could outscore Philly if James Harden and Joel Embiid are both on. And Tobias Harris is a huge piece to this puzzle, because does he get compromised? Does Tyrese Maxey get compromised? Because Tyrese Maxey's 16 points per game this year. He's actually 16-5-5. He's having a great year.
He's having a good year for them.
So, if it's how much does that impede his progress as a player going forward? And I hope Philly doesn't try to do nothing stupid where they try to bring him as a bench player, scoring type guy, because I think that's what people try to do every time they get a big star. I
can see them doing that, but I don't know who they'd start over. Maybe a core.
You have a Danny Green, but that's a 0.0 rebound, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 block player that's on the court. He's just a dead body out there. The most Danny Green could give you is 15 if he makes all 5 of his threes.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, I've seen it with the Lakers. He'll probably go 2 for 5. So he's 6 points, 15 the best. I think they should keep Maxey in that starting lineup. But that's besides the case. And even Tobias Harris, James Harden has never played with a guy like Tobias Harris. He's played with people like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, who can get points off pin downs. But Tobias Harris could post up. And he's like a post-up stretch type player.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see how, because if you look at the past teams, even with OKC, it was Ibaka. I'm not talking about best player. I'm talking about fours.
Yeah.
Obviously we know Durant, but that's Durant. We know he's going to get the bulk of the shots.
Right.
But the guy like Tobias Harris is a guy that does require 14 shots, 14 to 15 shots. And I would love to see if Harden could get him the ball, or if Harden even plays point guard at all.
I think he would. I think he's going to play point guard. I would like to see how that Harden, Embiid pick and roll, pick and pop works. I'd like to see how the ISOs work, because James Harden is an isolation player. Joel Embiid could be an isolation player. So it'll be interesting to see. So you have Philly. But
I think Philly wins it just because they could there's 4 players that can get you 20.
Gotcha.
And 2 of them could get you 30 in the same game when one gets you 15. And Tyrese Maxey could get you 15. So you have basically no dead players on the court because they're all actively trying to score.
Right.
There's no dead players. You don't have somebody just sitting in a corner who shoots 32% that you don't have to guard. And I think it also works out because they have to guard those 4 players. I think when I say don't put too much emphasis on on holding teams to under 100 is because it's the only way now in today's NBA where you can survive, you have to be able to outscore and get timely stops. It's not so much stopping them for the majority of the game. It's about when you get the stops now. So when I look at that, it's I like Philly. I really do. I like Philly because all 4 of them, if they play a Brooklyn Nets, it's they have to guard somebody. You can't put Kevin Durant on PJ Tucker and have him just sit in the corner and not have him burn any energy. They have to guard. That's the biggest thing.
Looking at that matchup, it would probably, it's just projections, but Simmons on Harden, Drummond on Embiid, which is obviously we know who's going to win that matchup.
But see, that's the thing too. Drummond is the big man they got, yes, but I don't think it's the big man they needed.
I mean, I think he's the best that they were going to get.
I agree with that too, but I don't think it's the big man they needed necessarily, because it's Durant shoots 50% bucket. Ben Simmons now will probably shoot 60% bucket. Then you have Kyrie Irving who shoots 45 to 50% bucket. Seth Curry who shoots 45%. His thing is offensive rebounds. So there's a game if everybody's on, they could be a game where he has 7-8 rebounds all defensively. Is that really what with 4 points maybe? So 4 points, 8 rebounds. That's what Claxton was doing.
I think he's definitely an upgrade from Claxton. I didn't see much promise in Claxton. Even the
As a
fans
player,
like
as a player knowing the name, it's an upgrade. But how they use him is going to be the same. Andre Drummond isn't a defensive big man. He's not even that big of a body. I saw last year with the Lakers, DeAndre Ayton looked like Hakeem Olajuwon. So now when he has to go against Giannis, because that's what they'll probably do, is put Drummond on Giannis.
Yeah, that's not going to work out.
And then
I could see them trying to put Simmons on him, try to do like a Simmons and Drummond on him.
Like, then who does Drummond guard? A guy like Serge when he's out to the 3-point line, or Brook Lopez is out on the 3-point line.
It's gonna be.
He's not in the paint to get rebounds.
Maybe they don't. They might not even be able to play Giannis in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens.
Exactly, and even if Kyrie, he's not there. He's not. He's probably most likely not gonna. We don't know as of right now, but he probably won't be there.
It's gonna be so bad watching them. Like it's gonna be them on the road. It's like, oh, the whole team's there, and then no Kyrie at home games.
And as great as KD is, Seth and I can't think. Ben Simmons is not going to get it done.
It'll definitely be interesting to see what happens on both of those teams. Moving on, talking about Kyrie Irving, he stated a couple days ago that he has no guilt in the Nets' recent struggles over the season. In your opinion, should he feel guilty?
100% he should feel guilty, but not for the reason people are going to think I'm saying that for.
Right.
Not for the vaccine reason. That's a part of it, but it's not the main thing. To me, he's out there. Like, if you're the best player, you feel bad in every loss. I would think you always feel like maybe if I could have did this, we would have won. That's a form of guilt.
Right.
So you just played perfect every time you played? You played perfect every time you played? And what does that say about him? Honestly, I think he's so strong in his beliefs that it sometimes gets in his way because he tries to seem like he's a higher being. He tries to seem like he's had it all figured out,
right.
Like he figured it all out.
Right.
So when he says he doesn't feel guilt, it will rub me the wrong way because it's not like you played perfect every game. You should feel guilty, like maybe if I would have hit that 3, we could have won, or if I took a charge right there, we could have won. That's a form of guilt because it's a regret on something you should have did.
Right.
So for him to say he has no guilt, it doesn't sit well with me. But then I can't say it's complete. He shouldn't feel. It sounds weird, but he shouldn't feel all the way guilty because injuries did kill them. Durant, 36 games played. Harden, you know the deal with that. 44 games. Kyrie only played 14. Joe Harris has been MIA since November. So it's like he should feel guilty because he's out there playing, but situations do happen where you kind of have to put things in perspective. And he should feel guilty because I don't care what James Harden say. He's the reason why Harden left. Let's just call it like it is.
He definitely plays a part in that not being there. Harden wanted to win.
Because think about it, when Kevin Durant was like, I support my brother James Harden's like, I'm frustrated. We got guys in and out for whatever reason.
Right.
You know who he's talking about.
Right, exactly. My take on it is, should he feel guilty? I mean, he doesn't want to be there, right? He doesn't want to be there. Well, I guess he wants to be there, but he doesn't want to be there enough.
He feels like there's nothing he can do. That's why he doesn't feel guilty, but that's not the reason why you should feel guilty.
Right. So, I don't know. That whole team is crazy this season. There's a lot of the injuries, the non-vaccination, the just losing. How many?
Losing makes everything
11
worse.
straight or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just all piling on, and hopefully this trade can help them get out of that wherever they are. But
if I'm KD, if I'm KD and you're looking at Kyrie, would you think differently of Kyrie?
No, I wouldn't think differently of Kyrie.
Not in terms of the vaccination status. I'm talking about, you see everywhere he's been, there has been something that has happened within a locker room.
Well, Kevin Durant obviously knew that before they teamed up, and he wanted to team up with Kyrie.
But great players feel like, just like the LeBron situation, they could change that, or they could change the person. because they're that great.
Should. I don't know what he wanted to play with Kyrie, so that's all that I know. And I also know that Durant gave the Nets his quote-unquote blessing to get rid of Harden, so I guess he's sticking with his guy.
He's sticking with Kyrie, yep.
But yeah, I don't know if he should feel guilty. I mean, yeah, he should feel guilty because they suck, I guess. And not only
he's a big part of why they suck. And it's not even because of the vaccine.
Yeah,
I'm not even talking about the
vaccine. He's played
14 games, and he's probably 1-13 in those games.
Right. I think they won the first game he came back, and maybe like one more or something.
Yeah. Well, he came back a little before Durant got hurt, so he's played probably. Well, they played today, I think. So he's 6. I'll give him 16. 15 games, and he's probably 3-12.
Yeah, so I mean, he's definitely
he's a part of that.
Yeah. And it's also tough for a team to have some sort of camaraderie when people are missing, and now this trade happened, so now new people got to get acclimated to the system and the whole brotherhood of that team. If there is a brotherhood on that team, it doesn't seem like it. It also seems like there's no leadership.
And to go back, even think about it from Ben Simmons joining now. Think about it from Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, and Andre Drummond joining now. The stuff that happened in Philly is not just going to blow over because they're traded.
Right.
So does Seth feel a way about Ben Simmons not showing up? That's another thing now. That's a Nets problem if those two have problems.
The Nets did bring a lot of problems over. If they have problems, I don't think they will. I know Drummond won't.
Drummond don't have a right to say nothing.
And I don't know if Seth is that pissed off. I don't think I've heard him speak up about it. So
well, there's not a lot of guys that are gonna.
And also, it just opened him up more opportunity. So he should just say thank you. But
I guess so.
Yeah. So
but even if Kyrie Irving, we all know this is one of the best players, most skilled player of all time, one of them. But it's sad that all the stuff that he had, he's done, it's like. You don't even think about that when you think of Kyrie Irving no more.
Yeah, I know.
It's like this man hit a game-winning shot in Game 7 against a quote-unquote regular season-wise best team of all time. And you don't even remember that. You don't even remember that when you think of Kyrie Irving, you think of vaccine. Think of how he left Boston. You think of why he wanted to leave LeBron. It's just a bunch of things that.
You think of his Instagram too.
You think of his. I don't follow him. I'm just to be honest.
All right, moving on, Will.
Yep.
The reigning NBA champions, Milwaukee Bucks, have looked like the same team as last year.
Yep.
Up until this part of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But this Eastern Conference is stacked. We got Chicago at 1, Miami at 2, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Philly, all within 3 games of each other. Philly is 3 games out of first place. So these standings could change tremendously. In the Western Conference, Phoenix looks even better than last year.
They do.
They look very professional this year, like they have one thing on their mind, and that is to win the NBA championship this year. Then we got the Warriors, who are getting back into form with Klay on his way back. And then we have Memphis, who is the surprising team this year, I believe. Ja Morant's going crazy, and they formed a great team around him.
We go up chimneys.
Up chimneys. So
smoke.
Right now, do you think the Bucks are the favorite to win the title again?
I think so. I think we're entering Giannis's time. You know what I mean? That is, I think this is Giannis's. These next 5 to 6 years are going to be Giannis's peak. I think we're going to look at this team, if they can all stay together and be healthy, because Jrue Holiday is, I think, 33, so they're going to have to find a replacement in some way. But I just think, as of right now, yes, I do think they're the title favorites. They should be the title favorites. They're the most complete. They're I would say they have a team full of great and good scorers and good defenders.
Yeah, they're a great team.
They're a great team. I wouldn't say they're the most complete team because after the 7th man, it's kind of
yeah.
But they have the strongest front 7, I think, in the league.
It's either them or Phoenix.
They have the strongest front 7 in the league, where it's like you got Jrue Holiday, 16. Chris Middleton, 20. Giannis, 25. Grayson Allen's a 12. And Bobby Portis is a 15 and could be a 30 on some days.
I know they just added Ibaka.
Now they just got Ibaka who's on the bench.
maybe
Connaughton is out because of his thumb. But it's like they have a great team where everybody who faces them has to guard.
And Lopez.
That's the biggest thing. And Lopez hasn't been there as well. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I like teams where you have to guard each player. You have to guard each player. You have to guard Drew Holiday. You have to guard Chris Middleton. You damn sure got to guard Giannis, maybe with 4 motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And then you got to guard Bobby Portis. And then you have to guard.
Put a hand up on Lopez.
You have to guard Grace. Well, I'm not saying Lopez because he's not playing, but we all know what Lopez is. But Grayson Allen, he's not just a stand in the corner, wait for it.
Right, he's improved a lot this year.
He's not just a stand in the corner waiting for 3 anymore. So he puts pressure on your defense. So that's why I think they are the best team in the league, despite record, because it's regular season.
I believe that they're definitely
I think they're going to win it again.
I think they're going to win it again. I think that they will most likely end up playing Phoenix again and beating them again, maybe easier this time around. But if I had to name my top 3 title favorites right now, the 2 teams that I could see maybe giving them a run for their money, one in the Eastern Conference, I'm going to choose Miami in the Eastern Conference.
I like
Miami
that.
has been playing very good team basketball. Jimmy Butler, when he's been healthy, he's been very good this year. Tyler Hero looks back to his rookie year self, which is good. And we know Bam Adebayo, and they just have a great supporting cast. They have shooting, they have defense. And my team in the West, besides Phoenix, because I already mentioned them, would have to be Golden State. But I got to shout out the Memphis Grizzlies because I think the Grizzlies could beat any team.
Go up chimneys.
I think they could beat any team in the Western Conference on their best day. So
do I, except for Phoenix.
I don't see them beating Phoenix in a 7-game series, but I can see them beating Golden State in a 7-game series.
I can.
So I'll give them a little asterisk next to them.
I could definitely see them beating Golden State. I can see them beating Golden State, but I can't see them beating Phoenix in a 7-game series. I can see it, but Ja's going to have to win that matchup every game.
Right.
Ja's going to have to win that matchup. Desmond Bane's going to have to win his matchup. And Dillon Brooks, when he comes back, has to at least – because if we're going to go down the line on matchups, Steph and Ja, they could cancel out. Okay, Clay. And
we'll see what version of Klay Thompson we have, too.
Clay and Desmond Bane, they'll score the same amount of points. But if Clay isn't on a minute restriction, I would like Clay to outscore him. Then you go to Wiggins.
And more efficiently, too.
And more efficiently, for sure. Then you go to Wiggins guarding Dillon Brooks. That'll cancel out. They'll both get 19, probably.
We'll put them like 15 and 19.
Both get 19. Draymond and Jaren Jackson's a weird one because Draymond is going to win the matchup, even though Jaren Jackson will probably score more.
Right.
Draymond will win the matchup. The two centers.
Depends on what Aiden we get. I mean,
I'm talking about Golden State.
Oh, my bad. Looney and Adams.
Two centers, 6 points, 6 rebounds, all of them offensive.
Right, for sure. For sure.
But
all in all, I got Milwaukee. I got Milwaukee for sure.
We're going to go top 3. I will go, obviously, Milwaukee, Phoenix, Golden State, and I'll go Miami, man. Miami.
You know what's funny about that? Our answers to this? We just spent the whole intro talking about who won the trade, and neither of those teams are even in our top.
Well, Philly's not going to make the finals.
I think Miami is a step above both Brooklyn and Philly, and they're the ones being talked about the most.
I've realized
nobody wants to shout out Miami this year.
I shout them out right now.
Credit.
I think they're the second best team in the East.
I for sure do too.
I think they're the second best team in the East.
For sure do.
And I hate that T has to hear me say that. But
hopefully he's not watching.
But they
hopefully he is.
They are the second best team in the East. And when I look at Philadelphia, James Harden, has playoff struggles. It's pretty evident that he's had playoff struggles. Maxi's never been there. He has last year, but it's different now.
Right.
It's not just.
And he's playing now. He's an actual player now.
Tobias Harris, he's gonna do what he does.
He doesn't really change up.
He doesn't do nothing more. He doesn't get better. He kind of just stays
nothing
the
more,
same.
nothing less.
Kind of just an even line.
Right.
You love the consistency, but sometimes you kind of have to do more than what you're asked.
Right. I feel I saw
and
something the other day.
And are we so confident that Joel Embiid will be 90% by the time April comes?
No, not at all.
If you really look at every year he's been in the playoffs, he's gotten hurt. You go back to 17, 18, he broke his nose.
Right.
18, 19, he had stomach flu, knee problems. It was what the hell? Stomach problems and knee problems in the same series.
Right.
It was ridiculous. 1920, bubble, knee wasn't hurt, but they got swept and they sucked. That was probably their worst team out of that 4-year run.
Sure.
Then 21, he tears his meniscus, even though he played amazing. He did play great. Tore his meniscus. So are we going to be confident? And right now, how it's looking 4-5, this is going to be a really hot take. 4-5 right now are Cleveland and
Memphis,
Philadelphia for 4-5 right now in the Eastern Conference at 4-5. I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland beats them.
Cleveland is another team like Memphis this year. I think Memphis has them, but
Cleveland could win. I think
Cleveland could give anybody a fight on their best day as well.
Cleveland could win because think about it like this: James Harden, Darius Garland, what you would think is a kill for James Harden.
Garland's a monster.
Garland.
We'll see how he plays in the playoffs.
Garland is gonna eat. Garland's going to eat James Harden. He's too quick, so they probably won't even.
And not even that. The matchups down low. I know Embiid's the best center.
But I like my chances.
But they got 4 big. They have Mobley, Jared Allen, Markkanen when he's back. I know he's not the best defender, but he's a big body to put down.
He's a big body. I forgot they even have Markkanen.
Yeah, and he's been out.
But I'm just thinking about it. No team is built like Cleveland, which makes them scary because it's something we haven't seen in maybe 10, 12 years.
Right.
The Lakers were like that.
They really excite me this year.
The Lakers were like that.
I'm super excited to watch them in the playoffs.
Think about it, man. Joel Embiid, when he turns and they doubled him, it's not going to be.
With Allen and Mobley, who are both 7 foot.
Yeah, it's not going to be. You're not turning into Draymond Green.
And the problem with that is now you don't kick it out to Seth Curry.
And you can't kick it out. You don't have they have the length to tip any pass.
It's going to be very.
So that's where I would not be surprised if Cleveland beats Philadelphia. And for the Nets, if Kyrie's going to be there half the time, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
We'll just go game.
Because honestly, I would sell out on Kevin Durant. Like there wouldn't be he would never go 1-on-1.
Ever, never.
That's why I had a problem with Milwaukee last year in the series. It's like I had a big problem with them letting him go 1-on-1 every time. I get their matchup. Their matchup was like he's gonna have to beat us by himself. He took away everybody.
And he almost did.
But now, I actually would I would make Ben Simmons beat me. Ben Simmons and Seth Curry have to beat me.
Yeah.
Simmons and Seth Curry have to beat me. Because Kevin Durant, if Curry gets 17, Ben Simmons gets 15, 10 and 10, Durant gets 35, they're probably going to win. Or they'll have a good chance. But now you throw Kyrie in that, if Kyrie's there, they're probably going to go back to the finals.
Let's check these standings out one more time, especially the Eastern Conference. A team we haven't talked about, who is the 1 seed right now, Chicago.
They don't have enough.
They've been hurt all year. It'll be very interesting to see what they do in the playoffs because DeRozan's been 38 every night. Can he do that in the playoffs? Probably not.
Now think about it like this: 1 through 8 are what, 5.5?
6.5, yeah.
They're not that much better. So can Chicago lose to an 8 seed?
Well, right now they'd be playing Brooklyn.
Could they lose even without Kyrie?
Yes.
Yes, they could lose.
Chicago could lose to anybody.
They could lose to anybody.
They could lose to 10. Atlanta
they could lose because
right
as great as DeMar DeRozan is playing, Zach LaVine's never been to the playoffs. Lonzo's never been to the playoffs. Vucevic was always a bottom feeder, never a favorite.
Right.
Javonte Green is their starter. I think this is his first year in the league. They have too many deficiencies, and they probably only win 2 matchups. And Zach LaVine will probably, depending if they have to play, they have a chance to lose all their matchups no matter how great they're playing.
It's going to be a very wild Eastern Conference playoff, anyway.
Yeah.
And down the stretch, rest of the regular
But I will
season.
show Miami love. because Miami has perimeter defenders, all like great perimeter defenders. They probably have the top 5. Well, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker.
Bam could stretch too.
And Bam could stretch. Duncan Robinson at least tries.
He's got length.
At least he could try. So they have 3 guys who are great defenders for modern day basketball.
And I can't say enough about how much Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker have really helped that team this year. Lowry was out for a little bit, but I mean, he's just so consistent with he's just a point guard. He's a pure point guard, and it's great to watch.
Even with Miami, you have to guard everybody except PJ.
I mean, you got to guard PJ's corner 3 because apparently he's the best
of all time.
Shooter of all time.
But you know he's gonna stand in the corner.
Right.
You don't have to necessarily pay attention to it all the time because he's probably only going to get 4 shots in that game.
Shit, they take PJ out in a stretch. You got to guard everybody.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Lowry,
so it's like
Butler.
They're always going
Duncan,
to make offense.
Bam.
They're going to make the defense work. That's how you beat teams now.
And then they're going to play defense too.
Yes, and then they can lock your ass up. So I think they have people that are going to make you work. That's the only way you could beat a Phoenix. That's the only way you could beat a Golden State. Make Stephen Curry guard. Make Klay Thompson. He was a great defender, but now he's a knee shot.
We'll see how he comes along.
So we make him guard. Takes away his legs. Because remember, he's not going to be 100%, but Klay at 50 could still get you 50. But defensively, he's not the same. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. That's how you beat great teams now. You got to make everybody guard. And that's another reason to me why Phoenix probably made the finals last year anyway. Chris Paul and Devin Booker didn't have to guard anybody.
Yeah, I feel like their playoff, they played Denver.
They played Denver with Jamal Murray hurt.
The Lakers.
They played Denver with Jamal Murray hurt and Gary Harris hurt.
The Lakers with injuries.
The Lakers, yeah.
And who was their – I'm forgetting their round matchup or second round matchup.
No, but yeah, even the Lakers, we had Schroeder who could score and go off the dribble, but when he went to the bench, it was Caruso.
Who was Phoenix's third matchup?
Phoenix, when they went to the conference finals, they played the Clippers.
Oh, right.
They somewhat had to guard, but Devin Booker didn't have to guard anybody because you weren't going to put him on Paul George. Reggie Jackson came alive, yeah, but when he went to the bench, and Patrick Beverley's your point guard, you don't have to guard him. That's how you beat these teams now. You got to make the top players have to guard.
Okay, for our last topic before we get into a little thing that we thought might be fun, if you look at the board here, we have my name and then Khalil's name with 5 spots underneath it. Khalil?
I'll be LeBron.
We're not there yet.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Give me your top
MVP.
5 candidates for MVP this year.
The way all these guys are playing, it really changes. It could change at any moment. It could change at any time.
Right.
Whether somebody wants to have 50 and somebody has 30. But right now, I would have to say Giannis is number 1 to me. It might not be the popular pick right now because I know a lot of people are rolling with Joel. And it's greatly deserved. But to me, I think Giannis is number 1 because he could possibly win Defensive Player of the Year too. That's why I would say him, because he does it both ends at high level.
Do you think that they would be able to give him both trophies, though?
Yeah, they've done it before. I mean, why not? I mean, and I hate that. I hate when people just be like, oh, well, we're tired of LeBron winning MVP every year. Let's just not vote for him. That has to be the stupidest thing. It doesn't make sense because these players end up getting robbed. They really end up getting robbed because you don't want to see him win again.
Right.
If you're a media person, you're not supposed to have a bias. That's a bias.
They all do.
They all have a bias. Kevin Durant wins MVP in 2014. Doesn't win one since. Giannis, he's probably going. He probably got one more in him before everybody just stops voting for him because he could be the MVP every year.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense. But anyway, Giannis is number 1 to me because of what he does on both ends at high levels. Always plays hard, and he's never gonna. He's just in a different element this year than even last year, he's better than he was last year individually as a player. So if you're better than that, I think you're the MVP. Second, I do have Joel Embiid. What he's done this year is very special because it's like all the distractions coming in, people not showing up, him probably doing more with less, him catching COVID and having to regain the momentum to have them back up. Because I think one time they slipped to like 8th when he was out with COVID for like 2 months. But then comes back, he kills in January, kills in, still February now, kills, which put him back up there. And I just think it's impressive that he did that with all the distractions and kind of having to adjust his game because now you're seeing him bring the ball up. He's never really done that before. But he's number 2 for me. And number 3, I have DeMar DeRozan, Compton legend. I have number 3, 28, 5-5. Chicago wasn't in the playoffs. Now they are. Not even just sneaking in the playoffs with the 1 seed. If that's not valuable, I don't know what is. And they haven't been healthy this whole year. And they're still first. And you can say that for a lot of the teams that are in that running for first seed in the East. And then 4th, I do have Demetrius Morant. I have Demetrius Morant. If y'all don't know, that's Ja's real name. Look it up. I ain't bullshitting. He's 26, 6-7. He affects their team. He affects their team so much. They all play with his mindset in their roles. It's really amazing to see like somebody who's like a year older than us leading a team to the third seed in the West. I think that's just amazing. And I love the quote, "We run up chimneys," by the way. Yeah, that's just their mindset. That's the team mindset. And a lot of the people say they talk the most shit in the league. Like, I like that.
Might have to put that on a t-shirt.
Like, fearless. Like, they're fearless. And he has them playing fearless. He's individually gotten them to be better. Like, he actually made them better. So I would definitely say Ja Morant is 4th. I can't say first because Giannis and Embiid and DeRozan, I think they're doing something that was kind of unexpected. Not for Giannis, but for DeRozan was definitely unexpected. Bleacher Report had that being the worst move of the offseason.
Right. I remember that.
So what DeRozan's doing is unexpected. What Ja's doing is unexpected, but we knew it was coming.
I don't know, 3rd seed we knew.
Not 3rd seed, not in terms of him being 3rd seed. But I saw it. I mean, not 3rd seed, but I thought they'd be 5th. Before the year, I said they'd be 5th or 6th.
5th or 6th.
Because you saw them steadily getting better every year. And I was like, 3-4 years are probably going to be top 4, top 5.
Right.
But number 3 and how they're the number 3 seed, nobody's hurt, nobody's like out, and for them to still be 3 seed, I think that's very impressive. But I think next year he'll probably win it next year.
We will see.
And then Nikola Jokic, I had a hard time putting Jokic at 5. His numbers are is amazing, but they're not winning enough games. And for some, Joel Embiid's the 4th or 5th seed, and Nikola Jokic is the 6th. Yeah, but they're 0.5 out of first.
Right, they could be in first.
They're 0.5 out of first. So technically, they are a number 1 quality team in the East. But Jokic, I did put him there because, I mean, I can't just ignore 26, 14, and 8. And his team wasn't healthy. I'll give him that too. But you could say that for Embiid, say that for DeRozan, and they're still – even Giannis. And their teams are still better. Ja Morant, to me, is more spectacular because it's more spectacular because he is so young and so energetic, and their whole team has his vibe. And Jokic, 26, 14, and 8, that's tough. That's all-time numbers, but he's a little too low for me to give him. Unless he averaged a triple-double, I wouldn't give him that. He's number 5 based off stats, not for anything else.
So my list is a bit different. I changed up my list. I was going to say something again, but I changed it up a little bit. But at number 1, give me the most exciting, most spectacular, like you said, player in the NBA right now, Ja Morant. Mm-hmm. I personally did not see him doing as much as he's doing this year. Mm-hmm. carrying a Memphis Grizzlies team to the 3rd seed in the West. By the way, the season's not over.
And another thing with Jock Nuts as well, can you honestly say carry? Can you really say carry?
I think I can.
Because I don't think they lost a game when he didn't play.
I think I can.
Seriously,
can say carry,
when John Morant was out, I think they're like 12-1.
But like you said, he made that team so much better for each player he made each player on that team so much better.
I agree.
His play style, not even his play style, but just his confidence and the way he runs that team. The whole team their spirits are lifted. They have more confidence in themselves. They're playing out of their minds. Desmond Bane is playing outstanding. The young kid, Zaire Williams, out of nowhere playing much better. Jaren Jackson's still Jaren Jackson, but I mean that team's playing outstanding. He's must-see TV every night, and I just think he's the most exciting player to watch right now. And I respect the hell out of it, so I got to give him number 1.
Well, I respect him too. I just can't put him first because they're like 12-1 without him. That's the only reason why I can't. And obviously, we know if there's no John Morant, they're better with John Morant. I'm not insinuating they're better without him at all. But I'm just saying that team is not a carry. It's not a carry. There were times where Giannis, Embiid, and DeRozan carried. Jokic carried. And the only reason why I didn't put Jokic above Morant is because Morant's number 3 in the West.
Give me Morant number 1. Number 2, I have Joel Embiid. The best big man in the league, if not 1B to Jokic. But this year, especially Embiid, he's going as a center to possibly have the scoring title at the end of the year. He has been playing with a team full of role players the whole year, and he's 2 games out of first, whatever he is. Just dominance, like that we have not seen. We'd like to see Embiid just dominate games, and he's really taken that leap this year. He could possibly take a step back with Harden. It'll be interesting to see, but as of right now, I got Embiid number 2. Number 3, Jokic, Nikola Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the numbers are outstanding. Another player,
Serbia.
Another player who's playing with not a great roster. He's playing with Uncle Jeff Green, Aaron Gordon,
Put some respect on
Monte
Jeff
Morris,
Green's name.
Campazzo, Will Barton. Just not great players. Probably worse than Philly's roster before this trade. But that's neither here or there.
I can say that.
Was it? It's 20. It's 26, 14, and 8 this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're just undermining that so much. 26 points for a big man. He's getting his boards 14, but he's the best passing big man probably of all time.
Yes, I'll give him that.
And I know he's the reigning MVP and back-to-back, whatever. He started on my list, and he could definitely move up if they trend the right way after the All-Star break as well.
I agree. I agree, but I think it's not about him. When I put him 5th, it's not about him. It's really not. It's about their 6th place, no matter what the circumstances are.
Well, we'll see if
and they're a real 6th place team. It's not a game behind.
Well, they should have Murray back soon. Not soon, like as in a couple of weeks, maybe a month and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
If they shoot up to 4, there's a conversation.
If he shoots up to 4, I'd give it to him.
There's going to be a conversation.
If he shoots up to 4, I would give it. He'd be number.
They're going to start winning games towards the end of this year. But we'll see. Moving on. What am I at? I'm at 5 here?
Yeah.
No, I'm at 4. 4. I got to go DeMar DeRozan. I changed this up. DeMar DeRozan has been, I don't want to say quietly, but so pushed away from media, it's unreal. Like, this dude has put up 38 points or 35 points in, 8 straight games.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago is the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They've been hurt. He's the only one who's been just consistently hooping for them. 35 points in 8 straight. That's James Harden from a couple years ago numbers. Some special-ass numbers. And it's just – he's got a couple game winners this year.
Back-to-back game winners, actually.
I mean, this dude's just playing the best basketball I've ever seen him play. And
by far.
the fact that they have the 1 seed. If they can continue this, this MVP race could get really.
That's what I'm saying.
Really
It's just for right now. We'll probably do this again in about a month and a half.
Right.
We could, honestly, the way they're all playing, we could do this shit tomorrow.
Exactly. And then for 5th, I'm between 2 guys. I'm gonna put Giannis, just because even Shaquille O'Neal said he is now Superman. He is the most dominant player in the NBA, and he probably will be for the next fucking 10 years or whatever he's going to play. But I want to put an asterisk, and I want to slash whatever, and I want to put Steph Curry, because in the beginning of the year, Steph Curry was the favorite to win the MVP. He was playing outstanding. The more and more close he got to the 3-point record, he started to get into a cold streak. Couldn't find his shot. Shooting worse than Steph Curry normally does, I should say.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put Steph in the mix. Their team is still second in the West. If Steph gets hot, who knows what could happen. I mean, Steph, he's probably, when he gets hot, he's probably the best player in the NBA. So.
And you know
that is my
funny?
top 5.
You know what's funny? I was listening to your stand. Don't worry. I was just looking at this Bucks Sixers quick score. 76ers won by 3. Right? Joel Embiid goes for 42, 14, and 5.
What was Giannis' stats?
32, 11, and 9.
Congratulations, Andrew. You just won another bet.
So, like I said, Joel Embiid could have possibly slid to number 1 just after tonight. Head up.
It's going to be a very interesting, just all of this, the playoff, the way teams move, the MVP race, everything's going to be great this year. I'm super excited.
Yep.
But now, we have our own version of the All-Star Draft. Khalil will be LeBron James, and I will be Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
This should be interesting. Khalil has the blessing of the first pick. We're going to do our starting 5s for the All-Star game. And I guess neither of us could be wrong here. But go ahead, Williams.
Giannis.
Okay. So you have Bron and Giannis.
Yo.
I'll take Ja.
Damn it.
Yeah, I'll take Ja Morant. That's my guy right now.
Give me Steph.
I will take Embiid. Because Embiid plays his ass off in all-star games.
Yes, he does. Now, give me Jokic.
Okay, I like that. I like my matchups here. I got Morant. I got Embiid. Do I get Tatum automatically for Durant?
Technically, yeah.
All right, so I have Morant, Tatum, Embiid. Give me All-Star Trae Young.
Give me DeMar.
And then I get Tatum, correct?
You get Wiggins.
Oh, I got Wiggins. Sick. So I got Morant, Trae, Tatum, Wiggins, and Embiid. I like my 5. I don't like Wiggins, but I like my 5. Wiggins is a new All-Star. He'd probably be playing.
He's going to play hard, but so is Giannis. So is Giannis. So my team was LeBron, obviously, because I'm LeBron James.
Yeah, something like that.
LeBron, Steph, Giannis, Jokic, and DeMar. We're going to put a poll up, and we're going to see whose team. We're going to put a poll up and see who's going to win, or who you guys think is the better team. Obviously, it's me. You can have fun with Wiggins.
I will have fun with Wiggins. Pause. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode.
Yeah.
Shout out to all of our viewers who came back to watch season 2, episode 1. Hopefully you guys like the new graphics that we are trying our damn best to do. We are terrible at technology. Anybody watching, give me a cameraman who knows how to do things. I'll pay them. Help us out, please. But yeah, we will see y'all after the All-Star break.
Mama, I love you.